many of whom haven't engaged in this space at all. So when I think about these type of stories, it's important for me to show that it's different type of faces and individuals who involve in this space, some of which they wouldn't ever consider. But most of all, it was really important for us to do this to serve the community. We don't take for granted at any stage the incredible community that has surrounded us and been built and cultivated over the last 6 years. We only hope to grow that community more. So I do hope this kind of reinforces our commitment to them while motivating others and inspiring others to get involved.
That is inspiring in itself, Rachel. What do you think sets Binance apart from other crypto exchanges? Why is crypto better with Binance?
So many reasons why, Deborah. I think that we stand out as an exchange for so many reasons, and so many reasons I'm lucky to have inherited from the incredible work that the people and potential here for them as individuals. And the spectrum, of course, we are the most regulated with 18 licenses and growing. Our commitment to users to ensure that university, and many of whom haven't engaged in this space at all, operate in over 100 countries. There's a spate of reasons I could take the next 45 minutes going through. But again, just to reinforce what I said in my last response, what really sets us apart, a community. We don't take for granted a community that has surrounded us and been built and cultivated over the last 6 years. We only hope to grow that office. Our French community, it's across the world. It's really extraordinary. Just this week we were here in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and with a really global community of individuals, and it's just incredible. The community that surrounds us and how they make us better and push us to be constantly innovating and committed to not just product enhancements and new products, but to what is the overall mission of this industry, which is financial freedom.
Well, that was wonderful. Vernon, when you produce these short films, did anything surprise you about the variety of ways users interact with crypto and Binance?
Absolutely. I mean, as Rachel said, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of stories that we got in, and that was part of the difficulty because there were so many compelling stories, and with the array of products that Binance has, obviously that lends itself to a huge amount of use cases as well. And I think that that was a challenge, but it was surprising to dive into the ways that people are using them to change. We've got stories in this film series where people are changing their careers into Web3. They're getting finances across the world in an emergency situation in seconds. All of those sorts of things feed in. I had a conversation with the head of Web3 for UNICEF in Turkey, and just hearing about how they're using blockchain to solve these kind of remittance issues, where before, to get those donations to partners around the world, it would cost a fortune in donation fees to send that money, whereas with blockchain it's done in seconds and at a fraction of the cost, and that lends itself into some of the stories that we have featured here, with the earthquake in Turkey, the issues that arose in Ukraine. So we've really dived into, the everyday use cases of product, but then, real life and, serious situations where crypto has been there when traditional finances and infrastructure hasn't. And it only goes to embolden the reasons that this technology is so important. And for Binance to kind of be at the forefront of that is nothing sort of short of an honor for, I think, everyone that works for Binance and in the industry.
I completely agree. You touched on how each user's story is really unique, Brennan. Can you go into detail with how you work to make sure that each user's individuality and relationship with crypto is shown through in the videos?
Yeah, I mean, what I love about the series is you can feel the users, you can feel the honesty, you can feel, you know, their personalities come through, and that's what really what we wanted to capture was that honesty of them being able to tell their stories. But you know, that becomes interesting because they need to feel relaxed, and a lot of people, you know, potentially haven't had Binance reach out to say we'd like to put you on camera and tell your story. It can be quite a daunting thing. So, you know, the first port of call was, once we sort of finalised the stories, was to just jump on a call with them and have a conversation. And what was great about that was there was sort of instantly a connection and a rapport, which needed to be there for when we were kind of on site and having a shoot, because again, that's another daunting prospect. So I think the most important thing was making sure that they felt comfortable first and foremost, and that they were happy to share their stories, and then making sure that they had everything around them to be able to do that clearly and confidently, and comfortably. So we had those conversations, and then, you know, then when you come to shoot, that's another story about how you kind of relax them on set. And we had a very harmonious, happy set, and that really made everything very kind of relaxed, and it made the users relax. And you can see that come across in these films, I think.
You really can. So, Rachel, this project includes users from multiple regions. What challenges did you face with this truly global venture?
Well, one thing that helped us is that Binance is really 24/7. I think we've got coverage everywhere, both, you know, from operational and marketing perspective. And as we look at marketing, you know, we really think global but act locally in terms of how we approach not only our bigger marketing campaigns, but all of our initiatives. Of course, there were lots of challenges from time zones and regulatory, guidelines, shooting schedules. But overall, I think we were all as a team so inspired by what the value proposition and what ultimately what these incredible collection of stories. And really, let's be honest, they're just the start. These stories are just the fundamentals, the foundations to what we hope will be, a larger community-driven initiative where we hear more stories. Like, if I'd had my way, I would have shot 100 of them. I think Brendan would have killed me on that one.
That's another story. That's another story about how you kind of
really proud of the users, and well, I know we'll have one joining us shortly. But overall, I would say it wasn't
come across in these films. I think
you really can.
Was the universal ambition of these was to showcase and celebrate these incredible users. And the team, I think, did 14, 15 hours.
What challenges did you face with this truly global venture?
A very short space of time, with a lot of other things going on in the marketing department, that we're working on. But I think you can see the investment of time and love and effort that went into the final product. And while nothing's perfect, we know we can always improve. I'm really proud of the stories that we're telling, and hopefully that they will be the catalyst for other users and our broader community to share their stories with us. Things get schedules, but overall, I think we were all as a team so inspired by what the value proposition and what ultimately really, let's be honest, they're just the start.
Wonderful job, Rachel. Kudos to the entire team. I have one last question for you, Rachel, and that is, what excites you most about sharing content such as Crypto is Better with the world?
I've been really lucky to be in this industry for the last few years, but I've worked, for 20 years. I'm showing my age now. I'm so excited to finally be able to share the broader stories that really celebrate, and showcase some of the potential here. And it's also, being in the lucky position of taking the helm of marketing at Binance. I'm just really proud of everything that the team has achieved with this. I'm hoping that, as Vernon knows, I was really nervous yesterday about sharing some of the initial videos. But I think, what's incredible about this platform or this campaign is it really just represents that snapshot of the potential here. It just serves to show some of the utility, and they are far-reaching. And as we saw at our recent Binance Blockchain Week, the potential is infinite here. What we just need is more people to use the service and use the platform and be able to tell us what more they need from it. So, I think that ultimately sharing this content should serve as this inspiration and motivation that I spoke about earlier on to get more people involved. So that's my personal. Vernon, do you have anything to add on that one?
Well, I just to kind of echo what you said, really, that it's about, this kind of campaign is sharing how people are using crypto, so it resonates with people on the other side of the world that might be like that. That's my story as well. But also, it is for the dads and brothers and cousins that don't know crypto yet. And let's be honest, there's still quite a few of them out there. And it's good to get this type of content to show, one of the things you hear most is, I don't understand crypto, it's complicated. But when you actually kind of break it down to, I used crypto to solve this problem, to do that, it makes it relatable to the kind of services that we use every day. They're just faster, cheaper, and better. So I think that, it's being able to say that, and it's sort of simplifying it in a way of everyday use. And I think that's where the resonance with this type of campaign and the importance shines through, not just for Binance, but for crypto in general.
It's really about changing the narrative. There's so much negativity around this space for a variety of reasons, but being able to showcase the positive stories and spotlight how different people are using it. And, I always think about my father as my focus group of one. I want to change his perception. I sent him this video and, he was like, oh, okay, I get it. You can use it to do cross-border. You can use it for this. So hopefully we'll have that response from others as well through this process.
I really like that insight, Rachel and Vernon. I know I'm looking forward to the day where moms and dads and sisters of the world start using crypto. But thank you both so much for discussing the work that goes into this type of projects, and thank you to all of the users that took part. Speaking of users, we have a very special user who is featured in the Crypto is Better series, and we are very, very proud to welcome Laurie to the stream. Rachel, I'll hand over to you to discuss Laurie's experiences with crypto and how she found being part of the production. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Deborah. I'll try and live up to your moderation skills because you're artful at this. As you mentioned earlier, we engage users to shed some light or spotlight some of the most engaging stories. And one of these is the wonderful Laurie, who's here with us today, who I had the opportunity to meet on set as well. Laurie is a self-professed digital nomad, as you'll have seen if you've seen the film, but she's been a long-time fan of crypto and the overall industry, and thankfully for us at Binance. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about why she chose Binance. Obviously, in the minute that we had assigned for the piece of content, we had a limited time to tell her story. So we're hoping kind of through the next 15 minutes or so, we'll get to dive a little bit deeper into what inspired her to get involved in this ecosystem and understand why she's so passionate about it, and ultimately why she offered her time to us to participate in this campaign as an advocate for this industry. Laurie, thank you for being here. I'll start with one question though. Where in the world are you today?
Hello, Rachel. I'm so glad to see you virtually again. Thanks so much for having me. I'm now in rainy Switzerland, unfortunately. But yeah, what can we expect? At least, yeah, I have some plans ahead. I was thinking maybe it would be nice to say hi to our American listeners, Brazilian. I will be there very soon. I'm excited about that. But yeah, for now I get the rain.
I know, well, greetings from a very warm Abu Dhabi, where I'm based at the moment. Could you talk a little bit, Larry, for the viewers at home about why you became part of this project? Like, why did you commit to getting involved?
It was a straightforward and very easy thought for me because I was there first. So my profile is not the typical trader that was born with this at all. I was an normie, as we say, and for me it was also intimidating to think about crypto. I had to do all my research on where what platform to trust, where to invest my money, which is of course a big thing. Is this even this new industry or ecosystem? Is this something to trust? Is this just gambling? So there were a lot of questions there, and for me, the Binance community is just incredible. So I'm happy to help anyone to filter a bit and to show also some inspiration on how you can actually follow different paths in crypto, and it doesn't have to be intimidating or scary at all. So yeah, I'm happy to help.
How did you start your journey? Like, where did this all begin?
I just mentioned gambling, and it was really what I thought at the beginning. I had some friends in Switzerland when I was studying, and they started talking me about this Bitcoin mining, investing, but it was so very, very recent. It was around 2017. But of course, these were very smart friends of mine, so I was like, okay, maybe there's something there. And here everyone talks about investment, so I was like, at some point, I need to understand this. And then when COVID hit, I think we all understood that digital is the way, or if it's not the way, because it doesn't have to be the only way, it's an alternative, and it can help us with our everyday lives, anything. So I found this as something to actually get involved. Like, I felt the urges, so I started investing more time into researching about new projects, and I enjoyed that so much. So I think at that point I was into the rabbit hole that much that I started creating content to help people to also go through their learning path, and yeah.
That's so interesting. COVID was a big pivotal moment for when I got deeper into this space as well. Don't get me wrong, it was such a horrible experience for many, but it also opened up a lot of doors for many others who at the time, to spend educating themselves. And during the film, and you use this term that I'm gonna steal from you, I'm gonna borrow it using for it, but you describe Binance product as mini apps that are easy to use. Will you explain a little bit what you mean by that? I know we spoke about it on set, but I'd love to kind of hear,
of course,
why you defined it as that.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because I also don't like to talk about crypto as an industry. I would say it's more of an ecosystem. And it's the same with Binance platform. It's like an ecosystem where different mini apps coexist. And so you will find yourself from one click, from one completely different